where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, your pocket change. Today, we're going to take a closer look at a coin that many people pass by without a second thought, the 1941 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. You may be surprised to find out that this small copper coin could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. In fact, depending on its condition and variety, it might be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars in today's coin market. Let's dive into the fascinating story behind the 1941 Lincoln penny and find out what makes it so valuable to collectors around the world. First, a bit of history. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first regular issue American coin to feature the image of a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse side proudly displays a right-facing portrait of Lincoln. The reverse, at the time of the 1941 issue, features two wheat stalks on either side of the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design commonly known as the wheat penny. Now let's fast forward to 1941. America was still recovering from the Great Depression, and World War II was looming on the horizon. Despite the economic struggles of the time, the U.S. Mint continued to produce Lincoln cents at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These are denoted by mint marks, or in the case of Philadelphia, no mint mark at all. Of the 1941 Lincoln cent was struck in huge numbers, over 1 billion coins in total. More than 887 million were produced in Philadelphia, around 128 million in Denver with the D mint mark, and roughly 92 million in San Francisco with the S mint mark. Because of these large mintage numbers, most 1941 pennies are considered common in circulated condition. However, not all 1941 pennies are created equal. Let's talk about what makes a 1941 penny valuable. First and foremost, condition is key. A 1941 Lincoln cent in well-worn condition might only be worth a few cents over face value. But a penny that has been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear, and still has its original mint luster, can command much higher prices. For example, a high-grade 1941 penny certified by a professional grading service as Mint State 65 or higher can sell for anywhere from $10 to $50. And that's just for a common specimen in beautiful shape, but it doesn't stop there. Some 1941 pennies have errors or unusual features that make them incredibly rare and sought after. These error coins can include double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and more. One of the most famous varieties to look out for is the 1941 double die obverse, where the letters In God We Trust or Liberty appear to be slightly doubled under magnification. These are extremely valuable, with some fetching hundreds of dollars depending on the severity of the doubling and the overall grade of the coin. Another variety to be aware of is the 1941 S with a repunched mint mark, where the S mint mark from San Francisco appears to be stamped twice, sometimes overlapping or slightly off. These can also bring significant premiums, especially in mint condition. So how do you know if your 1941 penny is worth a fortune? The first step is to check the mint mark. If your coin has a D or an S under the date, you'll want to pay extra attention. Next, examine the coin's condition. Look for signs of wear. If Lincoln's cheek and jawline are still sharp and detailed, you may have a higher grade coin. If you spot any unusual features like doubling, unusual shapes, or striking errors, it's worth having the coin evaluated by a professional coin grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Now let's talk about current market value. As of right now, a circulated 1941 penny without any special features is usually worth between 5 to 25 cents. But if you have a coin in mint state condition, especially graded MS65 or above, you could be looking at a value anywhere from $10 to over $100. And if your coin has a rare error or variety, it might sell for hundreds or even thousands at auction. For example, a 1941 S Lincoln cent in mint state 67 red condition has sold for over $2,000 in the past. That's right, 1 penny selling for over $2,000. The key is rarity, condition, and collector demand. So before you toss that old penny into the coin jar, take a closer look. That little copper coin from 1941 could be hiding a valuable secret. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos on rare and valuable coins. Got a 1941 penny in your collection? Drop a comment below, we'd love to hear about it. And as always, happy collecting! Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of rare coins with a spotlight on a piece that might be hiding in your pocket change or coin jar. the Abraham Lincoln 1942 1-cent penny. Yes, that old copper coin could be worth way more than just 1 cent, and in this video, we're going to explore its history, features, and current market value. So grab your magnifying glass, because you might just discover a hidden treasure. Let's start with a little background. The Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln wheat penny, was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this penny replaced the Indian head cent and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. On the obverse, or front of the coin, you'll find the right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln. On the reverse, for the 1942 issue, you'll see the classic wheat ears on both sides with the words 1 cent and United States of America in the center. Above that, the motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Now, let's focus on the year 1942. At that time, the United States was deep into World War II. Due to wartime metal shortages, the composition of coins was about to change dramatically. But in 1942, the Lincoln cent was still being struck in its traditional format, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The next year, in 1943, the U.S. Mint would switch to zinc-coated steel pennies to conserve copper for the war effort. That makes 1942 the last full year of copper-based Lincoln cents before the change. The 1942 penny was struck at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If your coin doesn't have a mint mark, it was made in Philadelphia. A D mark indicates it was struck in Denver, while an S mark means San Francisco. Now, while millions of these coins were minted, over 600 million from Philadelphia alone, certain factors can make your 1942 penny highly valuable. So what should you look for? First and foremost, condition. Coins in mint state, or uncirculated condition, can fetch high prices. A coin with no wear, strong luster, and sharp details can sell for anywhere between $10 to over $100 depending on the grade. A 1942 penny graded MS67 read by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can be worth several $100s, especially if it's from Denver or San Francisco where mintages were lower compared to Philadelphia, but condition isn't the only factor. Error coins are where things get really exciting. Misstrikes, double dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. For example, a 1942 double die obverse penny, where the doubling appears in the date or in the lettering of Liberty or In God We Trust, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the clarity of the doubling and the condition of the coin. Another hot target among collectors is the 1942 penny struck on the wrong planchet. A few 1942 pennies were accidentally struck on silver dime planchets or foreign coin blanks. These rare errors are extremely valuable and can sell for thousands of dollars at auction. Let's talk about actual market values. As of now, in 2025, the average circulated 1942 Lincoln wheat penny is worth between 3 and 10 cents. However, coins in fine to extra fine condition can range from 25 cents to a few dollars. When you move into uncirculated territory, values rise quickly. A 1942 penny in MS63 red might sell for $10 to $20, while an MS65 red could go for $50 to $75. The top-end coins, such as those graded MS67 red, especially with attractive toning or strong strike, have reached prices of $500 or more at major coin auctions. Error coins, as mentioned earlier, can blow these prices out of the water. For instance, a known 1942 D double die obverse has sold for over $1,500. Off-metal strikes or transitional errors have sold in the $2,000 to $1,500 range depending on rarity and demand. So how do you know if your 1942 penny is valuable? First, check the mint mark. Then examine the coin's condition. If it looks shiny and new with no visible wear, it might be uncirculated. Look for signs of doubling or misalignment. If you suspect you have something special, it's worth sending it to a professional grading service to be authenticated and graded. That little copper coin could be a hidden gem. In conclusion, while most 1942 Lincoln cents are common, there are a few that are worth serious money. Whether it's a pristine mint state example or a rare error coin, these small pieces of history can bring big rewards. So next time you're sifting through old change or checking a coin roll, keep an eye out for that 1942 penny. You might just hit the numismatic jackpot. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins and how to spot valuable ones, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next deep dive into hidden coin treasures. Drop a comment below and tell us, have you ever found a rare Lincoln penny in your collection? We'd love to hear your story. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting! Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story and value of the 1945 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. If you have one of these coins tucked away in a drawer, or maybe you've seen one while sorting through your change, don't go anywhere. It might just be worth more than you think. We're talking history, rarity, errors, and how much this coin can fetch in today's market. Let's get started. First things first, what exactly is the 1945 Lincoln penny? This coin was minted during a pivotal time in American history. The year was 1945, the final year of World War II. Millions of Americans were serving overseas, and on the home front, everything from rubber to metal was being rationed to support the war effort. This included copper, which was the primary material used for making pennies. So, here's an important fact: unlike the famous 1943 steel penny, the 1945 Lincoln cent was struck using the traditional 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc composition. The war was ending, and copper was more available once again. These coins were produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can tell where your penny was made by checking the mint mark just under the date. No mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. A small d is for Denver, and an S is for San Francisco. Now, let's talk design. On the front or obverse of the coin, you'll see the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, first appeared in 1909 and has remained a staple of U.S. coinage. Above Lincoln's head is the phrase, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word liberty, and to the right is the date, 1945. Flip the coin over and you'll find the reverse design known as the wheat penny, named for the 2 stylized wheat stalks curving up each side of the coin. Between the stalks are the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the motto E pluribus unum across the top. This classic wheat design was used from 1909 until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. Now, here comes the part everyone's waiting for: how much is a 1945 penny worth today? Let's break it down by condition and rarity first. The regular circulation pennies from 1945 are very common. Over 1 billion of them were produced across the 3 mints. Because of this, a worn 1945 penny in average circulated condition is typically worth just 1 to 3 cents. That's right, just a bit over face value. However, if you find a coin that's in uncirculated or mint state condition, the value can jump significantly. For example, a 1945 penny from Philadelphia in MS63 red condition could sell for around $5 to $10. A 1945 D penny in high-grade MS65 red condition might go for $15 to $25. A 1945 S penny in MS67 red condition can reach $40 to $80 at auction. But wait, there's more. The real treasures are the rare error coins. That's where things get exciting. Let's look at a few types of 1945 Lincoln cent error coins that collectors go crazy for. Double die errors. These occur when the die used to strike the coin has a misalignment or doubling of the design. This causes the letters and numbers to look slightly doubled. If you find a 1945 Lincoln cent with a noticeable double die on the date or lettering, it could be worth hundreds of dollars or more, depending on condition. Off-center strikes. Coins that are struck off-center are also very collectible. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin. A 1945 penny with a 50% off-center error can be worth $50 to $150 or more. Clipped planchets. These are coins that were struck on an incomplete metal blank, resulting in a coin with a curved or straight chunk missing. Depending on the size and location of the clip, these coins can bring $20 to $75 or more. Lamination errors. This happens when the surface of the coin peels away due to impurities in the metal. Lamination errors can sell for $10 to $50, depending on how dramatic the flaw is. Struck through grease or debris. Sometimes grease or other material gets between the die and the planchet, causing part of the design to appear missing or faded. These can be subtle or striking, and are worth $5 to $30 or more depending on how noticeable the error is. So, how do you tell if your 1945 penny is worth serious money? You'll need to examine it closely. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to check for doubling, mint mark variations, or oddities in the design. Look for unusual shapes, missing parts of the coin, or anything that seems off. Then compare it to images and descriptions online, or better yet, have it evaluated by a professional coin dealer or submit it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Another tip: color matters. Red coins, meaning pennies that have retained their original coppery luster, are worth more than brown ones. That's because red coins are better preserved and more visually appealing to collectors. Let's wrap this up with a final thought. The 1945 Lincoln penny is a beautiful piece of history. While most are common and worth just a few cents, there are some out there that are truly rare and valuable. If you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition, or with a major error, you could be holding a coin worth hundreds of dollars. So next time you're sorting through old coins, don't overlook that little 1945 wheat penny. It might just be your hidden treasure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell so you never miss a video about rare and valuable coins. Have you found a 1945 penny in your collection? Drop a comment below, we'd love to hear your story. Until next time, happy collecting! Today, we are going to take a deep dive into the history, details, and current market value of a coin that many people overlook, the 1951 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. This coin might just be sitting in your drawer, but some of these can be worth a lot more than 1 cent. Let's explore why this small copper coin could be a big deal for collectors and treasure hunters. The Lincoln 1-cent coin has been an American icon since it was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The 1951 Lincoln penny, part of the wheat cent series, was minted during a time of economic recovery after World War II and carries with it a rich legacy. While millions of these pennies were produced, not all of them are equal in value today. Some have unique features, minting errors, or conditions that can drive up their price significantly in the collector's market. First, let's talk about the basic design of the 1951 Lincoln cent. On the obverse or front side, you will see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. His initials can be found just below Lincoln's shoulder. The words "In God We Trust" are inscribed along the top, with Liberty on the left side and the date, 1951, on the right. On the reverse side, you'll find two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent in United States of America with the phrase E pluribus unum above. This wheat design was used from 1909 until 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. Now let's get into the mint marks. The 1951 penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins have no mint mark. The Denver coins are marked with a small d below the date, and the San Francisco coins have an S. Each mint struck millions of pennies, but their value today can vary depending on the mint, the condition of the coin, and if there are any rare errors. The 1951 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, made in Philadelphia, had a total mintage of over 284 million coins. Most of these are common and typically worth around 2 to 5 cents in circulated condition. However, if you find one in uncirculated or mint state condition, the value can jump significantly. A Philadelphia minted 1951 penny graded MS65 read by PCGS can sell for anywhere between $10 to $25, sometimes more depending on the market. The 1951 D Lincoln penny from the Denver Mint had an even larger mintage of over 625 million coins. These are also common in circulation and are worth about 2 to 5 cents in average condition. But again, if you come across a high-grade uncirculated specimen, especially one with strong luster and a vibrant red tone, its value can reach $15 to $40, with some top-condition coins being sold for even more in auctions. The 1951 S Lincoln penny, produced in San Francisco, saw a mintage of approximately 136 million coins. This version tends to have a bit more collector interest due to its lower mintage compared to Denver. In circulated condition, they are worth about the same, 2 to 6 cents, but uncirculated examples, especially in MS65 red condition, can go for $20 to $50 or more. And now here's where things get really interesting: error coins. The 1951 Lincoln penny is known to have some varieties and mint errors that are highly desirable among collectors. Look out for doubled dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and clipped planchets. For example, a 1951 penny with a strong doubled die on the date or lettering can be worth several $100s depending on the severity and clarity of the error. Repunched mint marks, especially on the 1951 D and 1951 S coins, can also command a higher price, sometimes reaching up to $100 if graded and verified. Another major factor that determines a coin's value is its condition and color. Penny collectors classify the color of copper coins into three categories: brown, BN, red-brown, RB, and red, RD. A 1951 penny that still retains 95% or more of its original red color is much more valuable than a brown one. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins with full original color and no signs of wear, scratches, or corrosion. Let's look at a few real auction prices to give you a better idea of the coin's market value today. In recent years, a 1951D Lincoln penny graded MS67 Plus red by PCG is sold for over $3,000 at a major auction. Another 1951S Lincoln penny graded MS67 red sold for more than $2,500. These coins are rare in that condition, but they show the potential value if you happen to find one in exceptional shape. So how do you know if your 1951 Lincoln penny is worth more than a cent? Start by examining it closely under a magnifying glass or coin loupe. Check for mint marks, doubling, and unusual features. Compare it to pictures of known errors and varieties online. If it looks promising, consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade not only gives buyers confidence but can greatly increase the resale value of your coin. To sum it all up, the 1951 Lincoln 1-cent penny might seem like a common coin, but certain mint marks, conditions, colors, and errors can turn it into a valuable collectible. While most circulated examples are only worth a few cents, uncirculated and rare varieties can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So before you toss that old penny aside, take a closer look. You might be holding a small piece of history worth a big chunk of change. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Have you found a 1951 penny in your collection? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep searching, because treasure is everywhere.